and there was a white boy singing.
I'm a
those songs,
Latino,
and
I'm
he's
Cuban.
Latino, he's Cuban.
So I write a song about little Maria gets knocked up, she gets free. It's the truth, and I gotta hear all this shit.
That song was written by Peter Steele.
With my ideals. I wasn't in the band. You know what I mean? I told him write this and that because I left the band. I came back and I did sing the record.
He was in Carnival at that time.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. And people don't want to accept the truth. We're not right wing. From day one, from United Blood, we have final war. How could you be right wing and talk about anti-war? Especially
and fascist attitudes.
Fascist attitudes. And can I keep going? Can I keep going? You know, like there's always been like liberty and justice for. There's no liberty, there's no justice for. That song, #1 on that record track, just explains it all.
We knew in America, when I was a fucking kid, we knew Agnostic Front were in a white power band. When we were a kid, we all knew that if Nazis showed up at shows at Agnostic Front show, they'd get their asses beat. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that.
It's just a different thing, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, it's just that we just spoke how we see the world, how we saw the world. I'm sure that's the same thing Minor Threat, Ian will tell you, and Black Flag. Who was that sang No TV1? No, White Minority. That was
Des.
That was Des Cadena.
Yeah.
You know?
And he was a Puerto Rican guy, right?
Yeah.
But they're considered Irish now, according to a book that I read yesterday.
Are you in a band?
Well, not really.
Let's talk about your band.
We just covered Agnostic Front.
Yeah, exactly. Are you right or you left?
In Croatia, you cannot work in a real conditions for a band. It's scene is really shitty down there. If you remember on that tour with US Bombs, you had some problems on the
borders.
Yes. Me, I never made it into that country.
No, they arrested Chet, and they took him.
And me too. They wouldn't let me in your country.
What's the problem with American bands on European
my problem is I'm from Cuba and I have a Cuban passport. I'm not from America. I said, like, you know, I was born in Cuba.
And that was the real problem.
I come from a communist country, going to another sort of communist, socialist type of place, and they still won't allow me.
No. This is not a communist country. It's a right-wing country.
Is it now?
It's very right-wing.
But I thought they had Agnostic Front. Is it Agnostic Front right now? They should have let me in.
Heaven for Agnostic Front.
No, I mean,
what do you think about Castro and all the sanctions against Cuba?
I think that was stupid because Cuba's such a small island. To focus and put so much energy into that little tiny island, I think it was an embarrassment, just like America just did with Iraq.
Sanctions don't hurt the government. Sanctions hurt the people that live in those countries. You're not hurting the government, you're just hurting those people. So you're not doing any good. All you're doing is making those people unite with that government, because then they hate the country even more. So you're pulling them together.
Same thing.
What you should do is help those people out as much as possible and show the
visual
people
problems with sanctions. I mean, it always it hurts just people, not the government.
I think we should just all dress up as Charlie Chaplin and wander around.
Al Jolson.
And what do you think about Rudolph Giuliani now?
He's a clown. He's always been a clown. You know, like, people love him because he changed New York City, made it safe for tourists.
Yes, I remember Giuliani, fuck you, but then after the...
you know, he's going to be a president someday. He's going to be a president someday because of September 11th, when he had nothing to do with it. He was cheating on his wife, he had cancer in his balls, the buildings come down, he's a hero. I don't understand. You know what I mean? The thing is,
you tell us.
I don't understand. I live in America, I don't vote. I can't vote, I'm from Cuba, I'm not allowed to vote. And it doesn't even matter if I can vote. Right. Bush proved that to everyone, to the whole world. It doesn't matter. Look what happened in Florida.
We're going to prove them wrong this time, though.
Yeah.
Well, Kerry is from Massachusetts.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as it ain't Bush.
Yeah.
What do you think about that Fat Mike's project, Punk Quota, or something like that?
You know, he's got some time on his hands, you know what I'm saying? He's having a good time, you know? He's a golfer, you know?
Expectations on European tour?
There's a lot. I'm coming back, finishing this tour, the Dropkick Murphys and Disasters. I come back in June for 2 weeks with Agnostic Front. Then I come back in November, December with Agnostic Front. We have a new album with Agnostic Front in September. And hopefully I'll be recording a new Disasters record in August and come back after.
Business told us about U.S. tour.
Yes, Business, Tiger Army, the Business, Disasters, and 2 other bands. I think F Minus is on there too. So F Minus and U.S. Ruffles.
Brad Logan.
Bradley just, I'm sick of this shit, man. I ain't doing this no more. And then fucking next thing you know, he's on the road, you know.
He's in Lawrence now.
Yeah, some.
Koje će još pitanja? Hoćemo
Samo
još
ti
dalje.
daj, samo ti...
Is it hard to be in a band for like 10 years and more?
10 years.
2 decades.
Well,
I
like,
think the Bomb's been around for 10 years.
not only Bombs. I mean, you were in a band since 80s.
Yeah, Shattered Faith was around for a long time.
70s.
Yeah, exactly. 70s.
Yeah, I would say that. I'd say that everybody sitting here. I'd say that everybody sitting here has been doing time in bands for over 20 years.
More than 20. Even with the Bruises.
I've been in bands before the Bruises. Since 1983, I've been in bands.
Then your impressions.
My impressions of what? Of punk and hardcore, and it's changing, or just what? Like
Just in general.
And being in a band for 20 years.
And being admired still. After 20
I went
years.
from being unadmired to being admired. That's how it went.
You know what?
I mean?
It's
And I'll be unadmired again.
It's just grateful that people have
love,
grasped
peaks and valleys.
to what we've done as bands, and it became such a worldwide alert. You know, like we never thought of this. I've been an agnostic front for 21 years. If you would have told me 21 years ago your band's going to do this, go all over the world, I would have laughed in your face.
Right.
And have all these great T-shirts and everything.
It's just grateful that people have taken to our bands, and it's like a time capsule. And our records they're not dated or anything like that. Any of our bands.
Even
they're as
Bruises
fresh.
records in Croatia, in our hometown, Ivanić grad. It's a place with about
10 to 15,000 people.
Kids still love especially early Bruises songs.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention Agnostic Front or US Bombs.
They probably don't even know Shattered Faith, though, huh? I'm surprised you do.
Sorry?
Well,
I'm surprised that you know Shattered Faith.
I'm a record collector at pretentious asshole. So.
But you see, that's what I mean. It's not dated. You know, like the Bruises record could be new to somebody who just got into it now, as it was to us 10 years ago, or whatever. You know what I mean?
If they listened to it, they would think they're a new band right now, happening.
Same thing if they gave them a new Shattered Faith record, they would not have the idea.
Well, Reagan country, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But
Actually, there's a label called Finger Records. They're like a new label out in California. And they just put together with all new bands. They put a Shattered Faith song in there, and it sounds just like fucking all the new bands. Actually, all the new bands sound like that.
Yeah.
In other words, they should be paying this motherfucker right here all the royalties for the record.
did you?
I need some new shit.
What about royalties from your main bands? I mean, not now, but I always heard stories about no royalties from record labels.
They don't like to pay people.
They don't like to pay people. It's been going on for years and years and years. A lot of artists have been ripped off. They make you sign.
Don't call us honest, being honest.
Well, a lot of, we're bullshit artists. A lot of artists have been ripped off when you sign and then you sell your royalties 50%. And Epitaph,